Hello and welcome. Thanks for taking a few minutes to stop by and listen to our overview and description of our webinar entitled The HIPAA Security Rule, the HITECH Act, and the Contingency Plan Standard. My name is Bob Chaput. My company is Data Mountain, and we're affiliated as a channel partner with a larger entity called Iron Mountain Digital, the world's leading provider of data protection strategies and services. I'd like to spend a few minutes today talking about three things. One, the background and motivation of our upcoming webinar. Number two, the specific webinar objectives. And number three, provide a little bit of background on your speaker in that particular webinar. So to begin, our webinar is largely about the very significant changes brought about by the HITECH Act, which was passed in the legislation in February of 2009. It changes not only HIPAA security, but also elements of the HIPAA privacy law or rule in a very huge way. We're going to, as a result of those changes, talk about how covered entities and now one of the largest changes brought about by the HITECH Act, business associates, must get serious about compliance. In fact, the deadline for full compliance was February 17th of 2010, a year after the law was passed and became legislation. We're going to, in this webinar, help you implement solutions to meet the contingency plan standard, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a moment and in great detail in the webinar itself. And as a result of that, highlight the fact that the contingency plan standard for many organizations oftentimes serves as the last line of defense in demonstrating that you're not guilty of willful neglect as it comes to and as it's related to protecting electronic protected healthcare information. So by way of objectives, our attendees who have joined us in the past and those who will join us in the future will benefit from this webinar in a number of ways. Number one, you'll learn some of the specifics about how the HITECH Act raises the ante for HIPAA security compliance. Number two, we'll review the HIPAA security final rule in some detail. The rule itself comprises 18 different standards, and within that, 42 specifications. We'll cover the taxonomy of the law itself and in a very specific way do a deep dive in the area of the contingency plan standard. During the course of our coverage, we'll spend time talking about the significant changes brought about by the HITECH Act. We've bucketed them into four major areas, and within those four areas tally about 15 major changes of which both covered entities and business associates should be aware. As I mentioned a moment ago, we'll cover the contingency plan standard in some detail, and within it, think of standards themselves as the what as it relates to the law, and the specifications as the how. The contingency plan standard comprises 5 specifications, one of which is a data backup specification, and the other is a so-called disaster recovery specification, which is really about data recovery. We'll help you understand the requirements in those two areas. And then finally, we'll spend some time helping you understand how online data backup solutions may help you nail down compliance with the contingency plan standard in a very specific, economical, and definitive kind of way. In terms of your speaker during that webinar, it'll be yours truly. My name is Bob Chaput again. This slide is simply intended to let you know that I didn't just fall off of a turnip truck, nor did I recently attend a weekend boot camp and declare myself an expert in this area. I've been involved in business and technology for over 30 years as an executive and an educator and an entrepreneur. I've had global responsibilities and assignments with companies like GE and Johnson & Johnson. And during that time, I've had responsibility for some of the world's largest healthcare data sets. And it's only been short periods during my career when I haven't had direct hands-on experience and responsibility for disaster recovery and business continuity planning. I'll leave the rest for the interested reader, but I'll just end as I highlight at the bottom. Our focus and expertise today is on the healthcare industry itself. And because of the role of covered entities in supporting healthcare, and now because of the statutory obligation that covered entities have with respect to the HIPAA Security Rule, we look at organizations that support healthcare in spaces like financial services and legal, in addition to healthcare. Once again, my name is Bob Chaput. If you're interested in attending our webinar, please visit our website, www.datamountain.com, and on the navigation bar at the top, look for resources, and under resources, look for data protection webinars. This particular webinar is one of several that we offer in this particular area, and we hope to see you at one of our webinars in the upcoming future. Thank you very much again for your time today.